This is African News Network First Fast Alive. My name is Cindy Mabi. We trust you had a wonderful weekend. Looking forward to a productive week ahead. Now, top story this half hour, an internal party survey has revealed that Helen Zille's colonialism tweets have cost the DA support among black voters. This comes as the Western Cape Premier is facing a disciplinary hearing for bringing the party into disrepute. According to the survey, support for the party among black voters has dropped by almost half, from 17% to 10% in the last 2 months. This is linked to Zille's tweets, which are perceived by some as support for the racist colonial system. The survey has put the party in a dilemma on whether to get rid of Zille to regain support amongst its important constituency. However, the party also cannot afford to fire Zille, who has the backing of the party's traditional white supporters and some donors. And here are the main findings of the internal survey. Firstly, support for the DA among black voters has dropped by almost half, and black support has dropped from 17% to 10% in the last 2 months. And Zille's approval ratings have also taken a knock during the tweet saga. And the survey raises the following questions. Will the DA lose some of its traditional white support if they fire Zille? And will firing Zille bring back black voters into the DA? And joining us live in studio, Helen Zille, Deputy National Convener of Black First, the Land First. Billy Nyaku is the DA Soweto West Branch Secretary. And joining us via our outside broadcast, Kaya Magatla, ANC Western Cape Acting Chairperson. Mr. Magatla, thanks so much for your time. Just the latest developments. Obviously, a dilemma when it comes to getting rid of the Trojan horse, as it were, in the DA. What do you make of the latest developments?
Well, we actually understood from the beginning that the Zille tweet was not necessarily an issue that can be easily ignored by people who have experienced the hardship of colonialism and the people who know where we come from. Therefore, it's obvious that black people generally and African people in particular will automatically have problems with what Helen Zille seems to believe very strongly.
Just please stay on the line, Mr. Magatla. In studio, we have Billy Nyaku, the DA Soweto West Branch Secretary, and Zanele Luana from BLF. Good evening to you, and thanks so much for joining us. Let's just cut to the chase here and deal with perceived racist tendencies within the DA. We saw a letter from a member, an open letter to the DA leadership questioning the supremacy of white people in the DA. Won't you clarify that, Billy? What's your experience?
Okay, let me first clarify this. I'm the General Secretary of the constituency, not the branch secretary.
Okay. What's the difference?
Constituency comprises of all the wards. So when you put wards together, obviously, they give you the constituency.
Okay.
If I have to be above board, I was actually said about what she has uttered on Twitter. That is absolutely uncalled for. So as the party, we don't support that at all. So black people were not franchised during the apartheid regime. So I mean, for her to say that colonialism had a positive impact on the lives of South Africans, so she's totally. I mean, she behaves like she's not from this country, you know what I'm saying?
And I can just imagine that the dynamics obviously being often very sensitive. You have to delicately talk about issues of the past without seeming as if you are dividing the party or even society. So Zanele, what we've made up so far, there has been other accusations in terms of how black people are treated. In this particular letter, the one member says that blacks are only employees of the party, not necessarily hands-on when it comes to the executive and policy. Does this take us back to almost being stuck in a time of voting along racial lines, and then if people exercise their right to join any other party, there will be either a level of resistance because of lack of tolerance? What's your view?
We know as the Black First Land First movement that the Democratic Alliance is a party of colonialism, is a party of racism, is a party of white supremacy, is a party of that continues to oppress our people. I think it's a good indication that there is some form of decline in terms of Black people who support the DA. But we must also keep in mind that the majority of people that support the racist party, that is the DA, is the white minority in this country. That's why in Parliament, the majority is white. In all executive mayor committees, the majority is white. But also, what I think we should also talk about, there might be a decline in terms of Black support when it comes to the Democratic Alliance. But we know parties such as the EFF, for example, are in coalition with the DA. So you have a decline in the DA, and you have our people, for example, come 2019, who are going to vote for the EFF. EFF was going to take the votes of Black people and deliver them straight to white people who have a possibility of governing this country. And I think then as Black people, we must be quite clear on mobilizing even outside the voting system and unite on a practical program of action to say South Africa is first and foremost a Black country. We are landless as a people. It doesn't matter if my brother is in the DA, I'm in the BLF, and someone is in the ANC. What matters is that all of us are landless. Who has the land is DA and its representatives. If we unite on such a program, we can easily get rid of these small problems, such as being insulted by Helen Zille, who's a custodian of white supremacy and has no regard on dignity and the outlook of Black people generally in this country.
We'll give Billy an opportunity to respond. Cecilia, was it Cecile, calling us from Queenstown, and Pepe in Tonga. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Sisi. I'm Cecil. Mna ndisapota uHelen. Le nto ayitshoyo i-correct. Thina abantu mna ndina-69 years of age ngoku. Apha eQueenstown, we had the Frontier Hospital. The Frontier Hospital yezana zii-white matrons, i-orderly, i-clean. Ungeza ngoku, akho lithi sibhedlele. Izindlu ezihlala kuzo Forum House, sasakhelwe ngelaa xesha labantu abamhlophe umasipala. Sisakheli kwezo zindlu. Bona bazokwenza small houses, plus i-RDP houses, ekuthiwa ngooVezinyawo. Sesithi nje, le nto bayayixanga i-Ellen is not true. I-Ellen bengathi kuba abantu abamnyama, uthi nje izinto ezazikho ngexesha labantu abamhlophe zisemile nanamhlanje zizo zikhona.
All right, so Siyabulela Nkosi kakhulu, calling us from Queenstown. Pepe, you are in Tongat. Good evening and welcome.
Okay, good evening. How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. Yes, I just want to comment about Helen Zille.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I want to comment about Helen Zille.
Yes, go ahead. What's your comment or question?
Yes, what I know, what I'm saying that she's supposed to apologize for the world, the entire world. We are just waiting for her apology. You understand? Because as the Black people, our grandparents suffered a lot. So if things like this happens, then it means that it's giving a very bad idea to DA. Even I know the votes of the Black people are going to be reduced due to comments. You understand? Okay,
Pepe, thanks indeed for your call. Victor in Kempton Park, good evening to you.
Yes, ma'am. I would like one of the panelists to make me clear, because over the weekend, whether Mantashe spoke about there's nothing like a white capital monopoly, and then Jacob Zuma spoke about there is something like a white capital monopoly. So I would like the guest there to assist me to define what is white capital monopoly, because whether Mantashe said it doesn't exist, that thing. The second question I want to ask, can we, at this moment, now, because we have reached at least the 25% of the 100% of what these emails that has been coming through are saying that who and who visited who and who visited who. Can people comment? And because as far as I'm concerned, the veracity of those emails are no longer an issue now. I mean, if 4 people confirm that, yes, we did receive them, can we get a clarity on the members of the panel there to assist us, please.
All right, Victor, we can deal with at 7:30 this evening. We'll be talking about specifically Fikile Mbalula and Trevor Manuel's encounters and engagement. So if you want to stay listening for that one, I just want to go back to Mr. Makatla. When it comes to how we create a society where all can share equally and not based on your skin color and based on the characteristics, clarify what the position is of the ANC with regard to white monopoly capital.
Well, our understanding is that imperialism or colonialism is one thing. Colonialism is about the extension of economic power of one country to another territory. You know, in our instance, we have been colonized by Britain, and that benefited a wide range of white monopoly companies outside our territory. But what Mantashe was saying in relation to monopoly capital is that monopoly capital does exist. But what he says, it doesn't need to be white or black. The fact of the matter is that capital is a capital.
Yeah, but we're not at that point, Mr. Makatla, where there's equal representation. We're not at that point where, in terms of the formal economy, that black people share equally, not only on the means of production, but holding executive positions. So, but I just want to quickly move on and give Mr. Nyako an opportunity to respond. Number one, how you shake that perception that the DA is fundamentally, inherently still white and preserves white privilege, and therefore that's why the likes of Helen Zille can get away with pretty much anything they say.
Yeah, honestly, as black people, we are so disappointed in that tweet. So we try in every possible way to promote policies, principles, and the brand of Democratic Alliance. So we have been taken aback by what he has uttered. So, I mean, every organization has got challenges. And it's difficult for us for now to clear the perception that DA is for white people. And we, as black members in the party, we stand opposed to that. But what I hate actually in this party is the black leaders who are not challenging the white counterparts, because this is the problem that we have currently. So I'm not going to mince any ways about that. So we are sitting with a problem. So they should try in every possible way to make sure that we take decisions collaboratively. No one or no race should be seen as superior to the other.
All right, we'll get a response from Zanele. We have callers Johan in Mpumalanga and Kenneth in Sanin. We see you and Malika in the Northwest. Hi, Johan. Goeienaand.
Good evening. Yeah, it's going well. Thank you.
Good.
I'm just want to comment. You see, we're 21 years in New South Africa, and we're still talking about things like children that we should have buried long time ago. We're not going forward in this country. But I just want to say, one must understand, and maybe what Zille said was kind of a white view, but why are we talking in the New South Africa about black and white, and we are creating more discourse than unity? But one must understand what she said. A lot of the infrastructure in this country was created by, even in a communal lands, the Thuislande before. Even the governments, the government in Pretoria, wherever, was created by apartheid government. And we must understand colonialism. Even the Afrikaner was affected by colonialism. Yeah. So colonialism is quite a thing. And it's got deep roots.
Ja, but Johan, as Ignet kan sê, ja, die verskil is dat die land was op swart mense se sterkte en hulle moeite gebou, okay? And that's why we still see white privilege today, which is something that we need to debate so that we have an equal society. Ek dink ek en jy praat dieselfde taal.
Yes, okay, but then and on politics on ground, for instance, these surveys been done for how many land is in the hands of whites. You know, it's not 100%. And we must come up with facts and that this thing doesn't become emotional and sensationalized.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Johan.
You understand?
We need
it's
so baie jammer Johan, ek het ander mense op die lyn hoor. Dankie baie vir die skakel. Kenneth and Sanin, good evening to you.
Hi Cindy, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
I'm alright, Cindy. I just wanted to do follow up on these tweets of Helen Zille. I don't think there's a problem on that. She must just apologize on us. Let me be open. I'm a member of ANC for 13 years now. What did Helen Zille did? Yes, it was wrong. Then if she can stand up and apologize, it's fine. We can agree. As member of ANC, yes, there's a certain things that I don't agree with my organization. For example, there's a lady there by, I don't know, it's a spokesperson of BLF and so on. I'm a young adult, all right? I don't see any fruitful things that she's always pulling it out on us, because we've got the children that they must learn on us. If we're still talking about apartheid and colonialism and so on, then we're not growing. Right. We're just going back. Why can't we just say, sorry, let me finish?
Yeah, no, we're seriously out of time. I do apologize. You echo the same sentiments as Johan. Malaika, you'll be our last caller on this. Good evening to you.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm well. I'd like to comment on the issue of her Twitter.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't think Zilla, just to show that Maimani's got power to do certain things, as they have a lot of black people who joined the DA. But according to me, Zilla's comment, today South Africa, we are suffering. But we as the blacks, we want the Democrats. But the Democrats doesn't work for us. So I don't think Zilla must just say to the public, I'm asking for forgiveness. Because I didn't know that it will cause so bad damage.
All right, Malaika, all right, point taken. Thanks so much. I believe we're going to squeeze one more in. Jakes from Timbisa, good evening to you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
to
good,
the panel. Thank you, thanks. Now, I'm going to be brief. Now, colonialism, by any stretch of imagination, it was a very bad exercise. It was a very bad exercise. Regardless of the benefits that colonialism came with, like the previous gentleman said, that it brought us clinics and so forth. Those are basic human rights. Now, my request to the South African public is that we bring the white liberals that we had in 1989, the very white liberals that voted in favor of having a democratic vote in 1994. We need those white liberals to come and voice out our concern and be the ones that champion the concerns that we have as a nation in the country.
All right, Zakes, I'm sorry, we're going to have to just give our panelists a chance to respond. You know, some of the sentiments is that the more we discuss blackness in cohabitation with whiteness, that is regressive. It's taking us back to the past. And why is it still necessary, though, to reflect especially on the challenges of the indigenous poor people of this country who happen to be black?
What we must understand as black people is that when white settlers landed in Africa, and particularly in South Africa, they created a state that worked for their own benefit. Now, in 1994, the ANC inherited an untransformed state. That's why the African National Congress is actually useless and can't do anything at this point to advance the progress of black people, because not only do white people have ownership of the land, they have ownership of the means of production, they have ownership of media houses that they use to peddleize, to defocus us as a black people in this country. Just to go back again to Helen Zille. Helen Zille took into social media, said colonialism was good for black people. She hasn't apologized for this. She went further to say her tweets on colonialism should not be even compared to the Jewish Holocaust, for example, because it's not the same thing. Now it shows how Helen Zille is determined to advance a white supremacist agenda to say white lives, as per the Jewish Holocaust, matter, and the suffering of black people today does not matter. It's very important for us as black people to discuss these issues because our lived experience from apartheid and today has not changed, and hence we need to unite and tackle these issues head on.
Yeah, I hear you, but also there's been a lot of progress made with the DA in terms of changing the complexion of the members of the party. I just want to come back to how do you function within an organization, according to your mail, that is still largely protects white leadership and with very little room for black members to influence policy and just relations?
Yeah, I'm one of those leaders within our party's ranks who advocate for people to speak their mind. So I understand we do have challenges, and as I'm speaking to you now, so we are discussing this issue at length in the townships to say if Helen Zille is not axed, so we will have to head to the exit door because we cannot take it anymore. We want to make sure that we embrace the hard-won freedom. We need to have non-racial society. So like ordinary members now, ordinary citizens of the broad South African society are saying we must criminalize racism. And unfortunately, ANC is not doing anything because it's the governing organization. So.
All right, Mr. Magatla, I suppose this one squarely on you because of the ANC having led South Africa, the democratic movement, for the past 23 years. So, you know, the splinter parties are happening because of the what people have called the reluctance of the ruling party to reform policy, to ensure that land is expropriated, that the majority black can share in the wealth and prosperity of this nation.
I can't get your question exactly.
Yeah, I'm saying that how do we reach an equal society where even members of parliament, primarily in the ANC, have the opportunity to change those stumbling blocks that hinder the inclusion of the majority black?
Well, with the dispensation we are in currently is a democratic one. The ANC allows everybody to exercise his right to offer association and so on. But the reality of the situation is that we inherited an extremely divided society, and that particular society, of course, is not only racial, it's economic. We are operating under a society where the whites are rich and the black by majority are poor. And we are trying to create an environment where there is a dispensation that acknowledges our previous epoch and try to find a way of building a non-racial society. That's why we are extremely disappointed, but at this stage, there is still leadership among these organizations that are existing that still believe that there is something positive about colonialism. That's why we started raising this matter, and we are still continuing raising the matter that Zille should be fired by the DA if the DA is serious about a non-racial society we are operating.
All right, Mr. Magatla, we're going to have to leave it there. That's Kaya Magatla, ANC Western Cape acting chairperson. In studio, we still have Billy from the DA and Zanele from Black First, the Land First. Bonang, good evening to you. You're calling us from Mabopane.
Yes, Sisi.
Yes, sir. What's your question or comment?
Sisi, bendifuna ukhomenta malunga nelento malunga noMamzile.
Go ahead.
Yazi kukho into engumangaliso kakhulukazi ngabantu bakuthi abamnyama.
Into leyo.
Ngifuna ukuqondisa into kokuba uMamzile akho nto futhi akho mistake futhi akayenzile nakwintetho akayikhuphileyo. Kuyafanele uba abantu mabalento mabakomperishe. Njengangoko nisazi into basivela ke kwi-government ye-National Party njengoba singaphansi kwayo ngelo xesha ibizwa ngokuthi incindezelo. And kuyafanele uba masikomperishe i-government esiphuma kuyo ne-government esikuyo ngoku. Xa usithi uyajonga mama khona ngoku izinto ezininzi zonakele kwelizwe. And futhi into ebuhlungu ufumana uba i-leadership yethu abantu abamnyama iyasimisleada singeselulutsha lweli lizwe.
Okay, Nkosi kakhulu Bhuti, Mr. Bonang, basically saying, draw a comparison under which regime were things better for the majority black, and agreeing with Ms. Zille to an extent that colonialism had its positives, but highlighting the manifestation of apartheid as we still experience it today. Mr. Faku, you're calling us from East London. Good evening.
Good evening, Mama.
Hi, what's your question or comment?
My comment is, in my view, when I compare a politician to a politician, irrespective of from which party that politician comes from, there are parties, when they make a comment, nobody says anything irrespective of what they say, and there are other parties within the same South Africa that when they make a comment, it looks as if they should not have made that comment. Now, my question is, who has got a better right than the other? Now, where I am is, I should be thinking that the people of South Africa, if they really like South Africa, unlike just trying to howl and howl and howl for what doesn't help us. Exactly. They should be looking at the country, how do they develop the country itself. Okay. Whatever they say, if that contributes, it should be seen in a certain way, not to begin to howl at itself, blah, blah, and that doesn't take us.
All right, Mr. Faku, yes, Nkosi kakhulu, we appreciate it. Just closing comments, Billy, with some of the callers also talking about, black issues still very glaring. We're outside, we're in the periphery of the economy, and that if we don't change the narrative, it will be, the status quo will be preserved. Atesh.
So, Helen Zille.
Yeah, how do you fix your DA? Because clearly you've bought into the philosophy and the ideology as a black person. You have your democratic right. How do you plan to change it if Zille doesn't go?
We are dedicated and loyal members of the party, and I'm saying on behalf of the other black members of the party that Helen Zille has reached ceiling, and she was very stupid to tweet that colonialism is very bad to the black people. And when you talk about it, it's like you're opening the wounds. So she must just step down. And if she does not step down, so we'll make sure that we exit the party with the masses. It's either Helen Zille or us. That is a fact.
It's the same as do you have the same tone in the organization as you do now, and even in your open letter regarding your concerns with white supremacy in the DA?
I will say, actually, Helen Zille contributed to that notion that it exists. So for me to come here and act like it does not exist, I will be doing injustice to the worried black members within the organization. So we must just hold each other's hands and fight for what is right for us, because we need to take decisions collectively and build this country.
Going forward. I really appreciate it. We're out of time. Zanele, don't give me that look. That's Zanele Loane, Deputy National Convener of Black First, the Land First. Mr. Billy Nyago is the Democratic Alliance, Soweto West Branch Secretary, and Kaya Magatla, ANC Western Cape Acting Chairperson. And you at home, our most valued panelists, thanks indeed for calling. We're back after this.